Hello everyone, welcome to SCI-EASE. In the last video, we discussed about Thomson model of an atom. And in this video, I will discuss Rutherford model of an atom. Ernest Rutherford wants to find out the position of the electron in an atom. So for that, he performed one experiment, and that experiment is known as Rutherford scattering experiment. This is the setup of the Rutherford's scattering experiment that I will explain just now. First, I want to tell you two things which are used during this experiment. One is the gold foil. He took gold foil. क्यों लिया उसने gold foil? क्योंकि वो बहुत thin foil उसे चाहिए था और वो gold का ही बन सकता था. ठीक है? Second, alpha particles उसने लिए जो कि स्ट्राइक करेंगे. सो अल्फा पार्टिकल्स क्या होते हैं दैट आई वॉन्ट टू टेल यू. ही टुक चार्ज अल्फा पार्टिकल्स ऑफ हीलियम. ओके, सो सपोज दिस इज द एटम ऑफ हीलियम एंड इट हैज 2 proton, 2 neutron and 2 electrons in it. Okay, so he removed, because he want charged alpha particles, he removed these 2 electrons and then he will get He2 positive. Okay, so alpha particles, charged alpha particles are of helium which has mass of 4U. 2 plus 2, 2 protons and 2 neutrons, so it will have the mass of 4U. Okay. Now this is the experiment, Rutherford's scattering experiment setup. This is the lead box through which alpha particles, they will come out. Okay, this is the source of alpha particles. From this, the alpha particles, they will come out. He took gold foil. Gold is in yellow color, but I was not having yellow pen, so मैंने इसको हरे रंग से बनाया. Very thin gold foil, and around this there is a screen. और स्क्रीन में यहाँ पे अंदर कोटिंग है किसकी? जिंक सल्फाइड. ओके, व्हाट इज द फंक्शन ऑफ दिस जिंक सल्फाइड? व्हेन alpha particles, they will strike this zinc sulfide, the coating of the zinc sulfide, it will glow. That is why he has coated this inner part with zinc sulfide. Okay. Then when he allowed the alpha particles to pass through this lead box and strike gold foil, he was expecting that he was expecting some other results, that when they will pass through the gold foil, there will be a small deflection in these alpha particles. There will be small deflection. But what was his observation? That was altogether different. He was surprised. Suppose this is the gold foil, atoms of the gold foil, okay, and this, when the alpha particles they are allowed to pass through it. Most of the fast moving alpha particles, they passed straight. They passed straight without any deviation. He was expecting that there will be some deviation, but there were no deviation and they passed straight. And then he observed that some of the alpha particles, they were deflected by the foil by small angles. Okay? Firstly, he observed that most of the fast moving alpha particles, they pass straight through the gold foil. Second, some of the alpha particles, they were deflected by the foil by small angles. And third, that out of every 12,000 particles, they appear to rebound. वापस आ गए. ये सीधे चले गए, ज़्यादा most of them सीधे चले गए. और दूसरा क्या हुआ कि there is small deflection when they pass near the center of the atom, and some of them, when they strike the center of an atom, they will bounce back. He was totally surprised. I will relate this thing with one experiment. आप allow one child with his eyes closed, कपड़ा बांध दो, and allow him to strike 10 stones on the wall. When he will strike the stone will come back and he will hear some sound. Okay? So he will hear 10 times the sound of the stones. But when the same child with the closed eyes is allowed to stand in front of the wire fence, okay, वायर है, फेंस बनी हुई है एक, ओके, और उसके ऊपर वो मारता है, तो he will not hear the sound many times. Out of 10, only one time or so he will hear the sound of the stone. Why? Because in fence there are some spaces, and so the stone will pass through it. Okay? Stone will pass through it. In the same way, here the alpha particles, most of the alpha particles, they passed. Why? He came to the Rutherford, came to the conclusion after performing this experiment. What was those conclusions? I want to tell you. First thing, he found that there is lot of empty space inside the atom. खाली जगह है, रोकने वाला कोई नहीं है, इसलिए क्या हुआ, अल्फा पार्टिकल स्ट्रेट निकल गए. Second, when the alpha particles, they passed near to the nucleus, there is small deflection. This means that there is some positive charge in the center of the atom. There is some positive charge in the center of the atom. And when some of the alpha particles, they are bounced back, second is that there is some positive charge in the center. Okay? And when this will bounce back, this means there must be something in the center. which is later known as nucleus. Okay, at that time, this neutrons, they were not found out. Okay, we will study about the neutrons later on. So, there is something in the center of the atom which occupies very less space. He found that the central part, which is positively charged, that occupies 10 to the power 5 times lesser than the whole atom. This means it's quite less. Okay? जैसे बहुत बड़ा कुछ atom है, otherwise it's very small, we can't see the atoms with our naked eye. In comparison to the size of the atom, the central part, that is very, very small. So, he came to the conclusion that there is lot of empty space in the atom, and then there is some positive charge in the center. And third thing, the positive charge, positive part, or you can say nucleus, that occupies very less space in comparison to the size of the atom. So, Rutherford's experiment, this scattering, alpha particle scattering experiment by the gold foil, that is very useful. This means that there is these electrons, they revolve around the nucleus. Okay, this is very important. Now, still, there are some drawbacks in the Rutherford's experiment. According to Rutherford, he said कि electrons घूम रहे हैं around the nucleus. लेकिन जब वो acceleration के साथ घूमना शुरू हो गए और धीरे धीरे जब उनकी एनर्जी कम होती जाएगी तो electrons they will fall. Electrons will fall. But this is not true. Okay? So, Rutherford, he gave too much about the structure of the atom. Thomson told that there is positive and negative charges. Negative charges, they are spread throughout the sphere which is of positive charge. But Rutherford ने क्या बताया कि जो positive charge है वो बिल्कुल center में है और उसने बहुत थोड़ी जगह जो है वो ऑक्युपाई करी हुई है. ओके, सो बहुत कुछ अर्नेस्ट रुदरफोर्ड ने बताया, बट स्टिल देयर वाज ड्रॉबैक. ही कुडंट एक्सप्लेन दैट these electrons, they revolve around the nucleus, they keep on revolving, they will not fall. Okay, so with this, my Rutherford's model of an atom that is finished. Then other scientist, he removed all these drawbacks of Ruther's experiment. So in my next video, I will take up Bohr's model of an atom. Till then, thank you very much.